It's a huge honor to have been chosen to deliver the teacher speech for the graduating class of 2020. No doubt, my tireless lobbying behind the scenes and bribing of grad committee members played a small part. After giving out free chocolate and gum and easy grades all year long, I was rightfully chosen for this honor, and I humbly accept. We've arrived at this momentous day for you, your high school graduation. And it's nothing like what we've imagined. This isolation and social distancing is not what any of us wanted. But in true Hunting Hills fashion, we are making the best of this situation with hope, heart, and home uppermost in our thoughts. This accomplishment has not come easy for you. As teachers, we bear witness to your journey. We listen to your struggles. We hear what you're going through. Some of you have struggled with anxiety and mental health. Some of you have struggled with the loss of someone you love, with grief. Some of you have struggled with divorce and separation. Some of you have struggled with issues of sexuality and gender. Some of you have gone through experiences that no young person should have to go through. We hear these things as teachers. We listen to your journey. And now, collectively, we are struggling with the unimaginable, a global pandemic. It feels some days like we're trapped in a dystopian novel, minus the zombies. We are all missing the life we had before, the joys of personal contact and connections. When life returns to normal, we will treasure the little things, hanging out with friends, going to a restaurant, a hug or a high five, even sitting in a crowded classroom. Now, like never before, we understand the importance of human contact, of close conversations, of maskless smiles. Now, more than ever, we see what's important: relationships and human connection. This has been an incredible journey for you. Think of all you've gone through, from elementary to middle school to your graduation year, all of the changes that you've experienced. Can you even recognize or remember your grade 7 self? If you're having trouble, we could probably find some embarrassing photos for you. While you've been on this amazing journey, from childhood to adolescence to becoming young adults, your parents have been on their own journey as well. They're not the same people they were when you started out as children. They've been going through their own struggles, their own changes. I would argue the only thing more difficult than being a teenager in 2020 is raising a teenager in 2020. So take a moment and just thank your parents. Do something nice for them. Cook a meal. Empty the dishwasher. Sorry, that probably confused a lot of you. The dishwasher is an appliance located in the kitchen. It hasn't been an easy journey for your parents, and you will not understand everything they have gone through until many years from now, you become parents yourself. I don't often come across quotes that speak to me, but there is one by the American educator Amy Fass that speaks deeply to me, both as a teacher and as a human being. She writes about her experience as a teacher, and she says, "I'm a better person for being around teenagers." I love that so much. It speaks not only to me, but I'm sure to all your teachers. I've spent the last 30 years of my life working with young people, and I know I'm a better person because of working with you guys. This is the great secret of education. We as teachers get as much out of the experience as the students we're hopefully affecting. You make us better people. You inspire us in so many ways. We learn from you. This is the great irony of teaching. We learn as much from the teenagers in our class as they learn from us. Not about curriculum, but about life. Amy Fass goes on to say, teenagers have this perfect balance of unapologetic and fiery strength and unfiltered, raw vulnerability. They are beautiful examples of aliveness. And I love this. So true. I've never bought into the line of thinking that says that today's youth are spoiled and entitled, obsessed with their cell phones, etc., etc. Believe it or not, there were adults who said the same thing about my generation, the ancient class of 1984. There were adults back then who thought that we were spoiled with our Sony Walkmans, our Pac-Man video games, and our Def Leppard cassette tapes. It's funny to think about that now. Instead, when I see this generation of young people, I'm inspired. I have confidence in the future. I see creativity and compassion and open-mindedness. I see good moral judgment, empathy, and vision. I believe fully this generation of young people is going to do amazing things, and I can't wait to hear about your accomplishments in the future. What I really want to let you know is that all the really great stuff in life comes now. You're standing in the doorway with high school behind you and the rest of your life ahead of you. We hope you've had an amazing time at Hunting Hills. We hope you have incredible memories and stories to tell. But the really good stuff, the really cool stuff, is just around the corner. Finding your true vocation, traveling, buying your first home, finding the love of your life, feeling really comfortable in your own skin, following your heart, finding new, lifelong friends. This is all just ahead of you. Your early 20s and your late teens are going to be a time of amazing change, self-discovery, and opportunity. Your best years are just ahead of you. The door is open. So, from an old teacher, I have a few little tips for you, little bits of advice. Number one, never underestimate the power of kindness. Seriously, kindness. Sounds like a really simple thing. My first principal, Barry Wilson, used to say, your students are going to forget most of what you teach them, but they will never forget how you treat them. This speaks to the idea of kindness and relationships. It's so easy to do, and it goes a long way. Tip number two, don't be afraid to reinvent yourself. If one dream fails, find another. Don't get stuck in a moment and a vision of yourself. Play around with who you think you are. Challenge yourself. Tip number three, always realize that the most important relationships in your life are going to be with real people in real time, side by side in conversation. Not online, not on social media. Nothing beats the power of spending time with friends and family. Tip number four, follow your heart. Life is too short to be unhappy. And my final tip, number five, comes straight from the world of Mr. Rogers. When I was a little kid, I loved the show Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And Mr. Rogers tells a story about when he was a kid, he was watching the news, and he was a bit afraid of what he was watching. He was nervous. And his mother said to him, whenever you're watching something like that, look for the helpers. You will always find helpers. And that is so true. I love the wisdom and the optimism of that moment. There are so many helpers all around you, whether they're teachers or counselors, friends or family. Find your helpers and keep them close. Well, guys, that's it for me. Congratulations so much on graduating class of 2020. We are super proud of you. You're standing in the doorway with your high school years behind you and your future ahead of you. The door is open. Step through and make your future epic. Thanks, guys.